What else do we need before we start? A name. Thank you, Mr. Caleb. So my name's Debbie and I'm employed here at Salandra Kindergarten. This is a newly built centre that's just opened here in Cranbourne North. We all collaborate together, so as much as we are individual rooms and individual teams, as you can see, it's a very open environment. The children do flow in and out of each other's rooms and they do share the outdoor space together. So if the children are working in my room, for example, and they're picking up on the interest of my immediate group, well then I would share that with the other girls and let them know that they were exhibiting an interest in the bug tray, for example, and so they might be then able to extend that interest into their room, or it might be something that we would facilitate for the children in our room. Do you remember when we talked about the butterfly? We talked about how the colours are on one side and then on the opposite side they're the same?
Yes.
Is that what we're doing with our painting?
Yep.
Making the butterfly wings?
Yes. Let's do some blue and green.
Blue and green?
Red.
The smudged butterfly painting's been out for the week, so we've talked them through the process of how initially when that was set up, what concepts we were hoping to gain from that, the mirror image of the butterfly wings, so that was the talking of the folding the paper. So by this stage of the week those skills and concepts should be established, and so they're experimenting now. They're sort of trial and error, and as you heard they were trying to mix the colours, and so that just initially led into the discussion about the life cycle of the butterfly. What's this called though?
Chrysalis.
And what's that?
Chrysalis.
What's a chrysalis? So what I was trying to gauge from Caleb in that moment was his comprehension of the actual life cycle and the way it flows. So with things like that, I would use that as a form of review for myself, that yes, obviously that learning that I'd done with them had sunk in. So what do I need to do now to take them to the next level, or what would be the next step that I need to facilitate or support or scaffold or provide for the children. Tanea, is this the water?
Yeah.
Wow, I love that picture. Thank you for telling me about it. Every child has a portfolio, and so their individual learning goes into their portfolio. That's a tool for the families to see the learning. We call it their learning journey. So the families can see that, and that's accessible all the time. The children will go and gain that throughout the session and look and see what's been added. They also have ownership of it, so they choose what they would like to add to it. So if Caleb had done his painting today, for example, and he desperately wants that to go in his folder, so he's got that as a memory, we would support that and put that in his folder so that he's got that there to refer back to. Jen will probably give me feedback on discussions she's had with other children as well, and we'll get a bit of a feel as to whether or not the group is also ready for that next step. And that data collection can be in many formats. It might be through observation where we quickly jot down notes, or we might purposely just jot some dot points down that would trigger a memory of what the situation was. We might just take immediate photos, or we might have the children involved in a particular art piece, and so we'll rely on that to be a form of documentation of what the children were involved with, or we might write the child's voice. And we do use our debriefing sessions and our team meetings to talk about specific children and their needs. So it might be children that might have additional needs, or it might just be behavioural, or it might be just that strong interests are coming from those particular children. So if we're aware as a whole team what is happening with those children, we can then use our observations of what's happening with that child to give feedback to their immediate educators so that they can use that as an assessment tool. So then we're all supporting that whole nurturing and cycle process. Thank you, Caleb. That was a wonderful story. You're a good teacher. I like your story times.